Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are tuned in to the Vitamin D with Dawn Dai podcast, and I am your host, Dawn Dai, here to get you excited about your life so that you can live life on purpose and for a purpose. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Vitamin D, it's a pun of my name. My name is Dawn, and you get vitamin D from the sun, so I'm here to shed light into your life. And I do this with inspirational insights and conversations with celebrities and everyday people like you and me. Because if you want to be better and you want to do better, then you're going to have to be able to see better. So join me on this journey of living our best lives and understanding and realizing how you are your greatest asset. Oh, sweet thing. Don't you know you're my everything? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That took me back when I was a child. Did I say I'm from Detroit? Motor City, baby. And I'm from Detroit, like right off of 8 Mile between Everett and Lasher. And I still say Lasher, even though it's really Lasser, but I still say Lasher, like whatever. Oh, sweet thing. Don't you know you my everything? Yes, you are. Almost like yes, you are, like as you are. Anyway, I'm coming to you live from Los Angeles, California in my multi-million-dollar studio, aka my closet, but in my mind, it's my multi-million-dollar studio. And Jeremiah is here. He's sitting right here, like the portion of like the foot of the bed to the wall. And he has his laptop propped on, what is this, like the TV stand joint? And he has a chair from the dining room table that he's sitting right here because we out here. I know that was a lot, right? But you know, there was an interesting thing that I caught from Yami, Rare Table Talk, Jada Pinkett Smith's mom. She says, no one can beat you with your own truth. Like, dog, it's your truth. Like, it's like, if you know who you are, like, what is coming at you? And it's interesting is I think sometimes, or not sometimes, oftentimes, or perhaps all the time, I don't know, that's a pretty big assumption. We get so caught up of the viewpoint of how everyone else is seeing us rather than how we see ourselves. And I guess I think about like just showing up as you are. Like just as you. And doing you authentically. Perhaps, you know, people try to go after their dreams and aspirations, just asking somebody else about what they should want. Whether that's looking for what they want in a spouse, what they want for their career, how their fitness, or how they want to look with their body, how they should wear their hair, what outfit. It's like, dog, just show up as you are and do you. It could be all so simple, and it doesn't have to be difficult. You know, when we give ourselves permission to be ourselves, we inspire others to show up as well. I came across this phenomenal woman who once said, she was like, if you can't see yourself, how can you imagine yourself? Like when we talk about greatness, when we talk about things that awe us, whether it be in art, whether it be in dance, whether it be with sports, or whatever it is, we have to make sure that we can see somebody that looks like us. Right? So I dare you to show up as you, boldly, authentically, audaciously, and realize that you cannot go keep looking at everybody else. Get familiar with who you are. Show up as you and give everybody something to look at, all right? That's what it's about. That's what it's going to take. And I want that for you. I want that for me too. All right, then.
Get your vitamin D right here with me and get excited about your life.
We got some cookies.
We got some cookies. Are you recording here yet?
No, I think it's good.
I sound good.
I sound delightful.
My cookies taste good.
I got some water.
I'm
hydrated.
Hydrated.
I'm going to keep this.
Oh my God. You made 2 plates of cookies?
Yeah.
Do you respect my life?
I think that your soul needed it. I internalized and got them for you.
Oh my God. You made the batter
homemade. It's so easy. Do you want to know I won't tell you the secret. Should I tell you the secret? No, I won't.
You should tell me the secret.
Okay. It's the chocolate chip cookie recipe on the back of the Trader Joe's chocolate chip bag.
What?
But you don't use the chocolate chips. You use the Nestle Toll House mini chocolate chips.
You just straight up Debo the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
I do my little twang on it. Like there's differences, but like I'm not going to take credit for a recipe that I didn't write.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, listen, you made it work. I feel like you can give a lot of people a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work. But when you can put your magic on it and it works, you're the winner.
I'm the winner. It's how I make it, and it's my love.
Wait. I appreciate how your shoulders go up to accentuate your passion with it.
Oh yeah, you got to. It has to exude. It fills your body.
I feel like I'm channeling like a Tina Turner.
Oh.
Rolling on the river. Ooh, 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 ooh.
You're just a circular rotation.
Rolling down the river. Rolling down the river.
I lost my breath for a second there.
Okay. Can we go? Are we time? Like, what's up, guys? Sit in my glory.
I'll just sew now.
Those cookies are phenomenal.
I'm so glad you like them.
And they're not even warmed up. They're phenomenal.
10 seconds or 8 if you want to be like particular. In the microwave, just nuke it a little bit.
Just a little bit. Now, what if you use a convection oven?
Oh, like a electric oven?
The convention, the little small
the little
joint,
tiny
like
a toaster oven.
Toaster oven, yeah.
I've never tried it in a toaster oven.
I'm just thinking of a warm up. But they have a warm up key. But I guess if I did put it on bake, I could put it on 250.
I feel like because I cook them not to like ideal crispiness, I would be worried that it would, on the toaster oven, it would like fall through. So you might want to put it on like a plate or like tin foil.
Oh, yeah. For sure. First, a baking sheet of some sort.
Yeah, some sort.
Oh, is that another secret? Don't cook it all the way through.
Oh, if it says 8 to 10 minutes on the bag, you should 9 or 8. This is so fun, by the way.
Isn't this cool?
I've never seen something like this.
I know.
This is so cool that you do this.
Dreams, honey.
A delicate hand touch.
Wait. Let's do it again. Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Tori, boo, this is my dreams.
I love that you're living them.
Wide awake, right?
She's wide awake.
I'm wide awake. Wait, was that Katy Perry?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm wide awake. Oh my, I love. Yo, was it Katy? No, it was Katy Perry.
Indoors, on the water, I'm wide awake.
Wide awake. That's all I can remember. Because I was ready right when she was like, I'm wide awake. Because like, I'm wide awake.
I'm notorious for knowing only 2 words of a song.
Really?
But only the melody then. So I just make up the words.
Well, that's what life is all about. We just make it up as we go.
Make it up as we go. I think my versions are better, but you know, they also made millions off of the song.
Right. They were just smart enough to get a lawyer or something, right?
Yeah, that's true. I probably should like get Kim Kardashian to represent me.
And get paid. What?
Get pay.
You can win. Lawyer dash. You got to get a dash to the dash in, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So I'm like being cognizant about my nail because, girl, you know I had to put a little whip on it.
I have to say, you look great. I'm loving the gold. We're kind of like, is that a butterfly?
This? No, this is my name. This is Dawn. I've had this since I was like in 8th grade.
It looked like a butterfly from here. And I was like, I'm wearing a butterfly.
Oh my God, I feel like a butterfly.
Your name looks like a butterfly.
Oh my gosh, we are butterflies in the sky, just flying.
Just living our truth.
And spreading it, yeah.
Spreading goodness,
yeah.
Pollinating.
Hello, somebody. This other one is a crucifix, although I'm not a Christian. I've had this since I was 8, like 3rd grade. Just, I believe in God and have a relationship with God, but as far as the whole Christianity and that religion, but I've been wearing it. And for a few years, I actually stopped wearing it because of that very reason. And then this gold heart that I decided to wrap love around. I think I found this on the street in New York.
I love it.
And I think it's real gold because it hasn't turned yet.
What a deal.
Hello, somebody. Listen, the big city, big dreams, big money, big gold on the streets. Tori, you said you had some M&Ms here. I don't see them.
Oh, we got some M&Ms.
Oh, okay.
And I've got us some unsalted Snyder's pretzels.
You better know.
The mini size. It's a mini theme show.
It's a mini. Go ahead.
And unsalted pretzels to taste with.
Do you understand how much I love to eat?
I don't know if I can fully grasp my love for food into a singular thought.
And your last name is Foody.
Last name's
what?
Foody. Yeah.
Did you? Is that intentional?
No.
What's up? Wait, have we started the podcast?
Go ahead.
This podcast is okay. Go.
Oh, it started.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I thought we
Listen. Wait, Foody is really your last name, and you love food?
Yes, my whole family's in the food industry somehow, some way.
Are you
touched it?
Y'all did not make up the last name. Foody is on the birth certificate.
A birth certificate. Thank you, whoever my descendants are in Ireland. You really knew your future offspring would carry the legacy.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
But, okay.
It's a lot to hold up to, though. People see it and they either one, think it's a joke, or two, they're like, okay, well, tell me about this cuisine. I'm like, oh, I didn't do a study for the state. You know?
But wait, your last name actually works around what you do. You study food, you're in food.
Totally.
You're from Florida, you're in LA. We met at the Groundlings. What? Okay, welcome. Hello, guys. I'm talking with Tori Foody. How do I describe you? A lover of food? I don't eat.
Oh, this is my go-to phrase. Tori Foody. A foodie before it was cool to be a foodie. Or a foodie born in a foodie world, but they're spelt with the IE and mine's with a Y. So you know I'm a true one.
Hello, somebody. If you didn't catch it, you better get it.
Get it.
It's a real one. See, we only rock with the real ones on here. It's like, no. So tell us about you. So I brought you on because you studied food science.
Yes.
At the University of Georgia.
Go Dogs.
Hey, you're from Florida, but we met in Los Angeles over at the infamous, the luxurious
Groundlings
Theater. The place that I love, that I can be free. The place where I met wonderful friends such as she. In case you're wondering, the Groundlings is an infamous improv theater and school.
Yes.
A lot of legends have came out of there.
SNL, you got the greats, Will Ferrell, Maya Rudolph, just Kristen Wiig. There's so many people on TV now.
On and on. Stephanie Courtney, Flo.
Oh, she's the best.
I
saw her in a show without all of her Flo makeup on, and I left and I was like, that girl looked eerily similar to Flo. And my friend dropped to the floor. Like, Tori, are you stupid? It was. And I went, no wonder I liked her so much. But without the makeup, I didn't recognize her at first.
Isn't it crazy?
Crazy.
We study with legends.
With legends.
Groundlings, And you know who I fell in love, and I didn't realize until I actually went to a show that was a Groundling? Michael McDonald. I would watch Mad TV all the time, and I love me some Stewie. No. Hey. No. Okay.
Oh my God.
I know.
I love it. I love the reenactment of it.
And so we met over food, actually.
We met over food. So I had brought in cookies.
I was studying intermediate. You were
in basic.
Basic.
I had just moved to LA, and I was like, first thing I want to do, obviously,
see Dawn.
See Dawn, make her cookies, bribe her into being my best friend, essentially.
Ding, 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 ding.
But I had this idea that Groundlings was going to be like the adult version of like a fraternity sorority in a sense, because I was going to just make all of the best friends in the entire world that were weirdos just like me. And the plan worked out. I bribed them with cookies and was like, anyone want to grab a beer afterwards? But in the break, I met this wonderful human and she goes, are those cookies?
Right. Can I have one?
Can I have one?
Mind you, on the sidebar, each time we're meeting in the hallway, I have my vegan meal that's already... Yes. Go figure. I told just to lighten the dark, the yin and the yang. It's dawn to the day. Go ahead.
And I remember asking you, I was like, well, these aren't vegan. And that was the biggest thing. Every time I would see you, I was like, well, like, are you still vegan? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still want a cookie.
And that's what you don't realize. That's why I tell people all the time, don't put me in a box because I'm going to disappoint you. Sometimes I want it hot. Sometimes I want it cold. It just depends on whatever is clever.
Yeah.
But we that was our establishment. We really established this bond. I was like, if you want to get to Dawn's heart, feed me. All of my closest friends, they cook for me. Yeah. They feed me, honey.
Have to do it. I'm telling you, the best or the fastest way to anyone's heart is through their stomach.
Hello, somebody. You know, actually, just speaking because we were talking about religion for a second. Did you know in the Bible, they actually consider the stomach the heart? Because if you think about it, most of everything that you experience, every emotion is in the gut. And your intuition,
wow.
We're on to something.
I feel like I'm a pretty intuitive person too.
Hello.
So and the last name's Foody.
Hello, come. Ibo.
Having some realizations here.
I know, right? You never know what you're going to get on the VitaminDDawnDai podcast.
I love it.
So we talked about how we met.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you study food science. What is food science? Are you still doing food science? What are you doing with your life?
All of the questions. So when I was in high school, I really loved science, math. That was what I was good at. AP Lit, not my thing. So really
AP Lit was not lit.
It was not lit before lit was even a thing. And I went to school and I toured at the University of Georgia and they talked about the food science program there. And I fell in love with it as the idea is like a junior in high school. Ended up going through, you do all the prerequisites that a pre-med student would take, like the biochemistries, organic chemistries. It's a lot of biology, chemistries, physics. And then you get into your actual food classes and it's all about how can you apply this like organic chemistry into food and like the chemical makeup of food and what makes it the food that we do. So if you have a food science degree, you typically go into quality control. You can go into like the FDA, USDA, like that sort of thing. Or most people go into product development.
Which is?
Product development are the people, the crazy brains that come up with all the weird Oreo flavors. Or like,
you're telling me that's how you get paid to eat?
Mm-hmm. You can go into sensory like panels. You can do that, which I think we're going to be doing later on today.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah.
I want to tell y'all, but stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So when I graduated college, I worked for Kraft Heinz for just a hot minute. Fortunately, it didn't last very long because they merged as a company and I didn't stay long. But I got a great opportunity in North Carolina. I worked as a food technologist and worked my way up to product developer. And so I was developing products, beverages.
What did you develop?
I can't talk about, and that's what's so frustrating, but about what I did was all my friends, we'd go out and they're like, okay, well, we're going to give you like a ton of drinks to see if you'll spill the beans about what clients you're working on, like what food you're developing. But I wasn't, NDAs and whatnot.
So wait, there's a possibility that I ate some food that you developed?
Totally.
Are you kidding?
Totally.
Tori, tell me who's going to know?
Who's going to know?
They're not going to know.
They're not going to know.
How are they going to know?
How are they going to know? We watch too many TikToks.
Right, too many TikToks.
But no, food science is the way I like to describe it. This is a very long-winded journey of how to get there. But a food scientist is someone who ideates, so they come up with the ideas and then they create these ideas. They make it on a very large level, like mass production, like on a line, and then they're making sure that it's safe, that it tastes good. You go through different quality control checks, and then you put it out on the market. And you can do it anything from a CPG, like a commercial packaged goods company, which would be like Kraft Heinz, or you could be for like a restaurant.
So when
like
you say
McDonald's.
Kraft Heinz, you mean like Kraft Foods and like Dunkin' Heinz? Kraft Heinz?
Kraft Heinz is like Kraft mac and cheese and Heinz ketchup.
Oh, H-E-I-N-S, not H-I-N-E-S. Got it, copy.
I have a little bit of a lisp. It's fine.
No, you're fine. No, I was catching it because I was just thinking about all these foods. You got to understand there is Heinz there and there is Dunkin' Heinz, but it isn't, you didn't say Dunkin' Heinz, you said Heinz.
Yeah.
Sorry, as you were.
I can see the confusion. But that's pretty much it. It's the people who come up with these crazy, Lay's potato chip flavors. They'll get the idea to do a dill pickle in a chip and you're coming up with, you have to have obviously the chemistry background and the engineering background. And you just start in a lab, you're in a test kitchen.
What?
I specifically worked with a lot of fast food companies. I worked with a lot of convenience stores, a lot of CPG companies, and creating coffee extracts was my thing.
Coffee.
Coffee.
You love coffee?
I love coffee.
How many cups of coffee do you drink a day?
Right now, I only drink like between 1 to 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I thought you were going to say like 4 or 5.
But before it was
You had to go to rehab?
rehab for coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Honestly, like I was pretty regular, if I could say that on this podcast.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah. It was a great career and I loved it, but I'm not in it anymore. I left the food industry about 2 years ago. I was a little burnt out. I was really successful at such a young age coming out of college.
I mean, you have your lineage.
Yeah. And, of course, it's in my blood. And I wasn't a great student, but I did a lot in my labs. I really excelled in my labs and hands-on work, my internships. And so when I got into product development, I was basically given an entire lab to run by myself. And I was like just hustling out products and like working with customers all the time, the sales reps. And I think I got just too burnt out. The company wasn't a right fit for me that I was working with. I didn't love living I loved the South because I went to school in the South and I loved my friends in Charlotte, but I didn't see myself there long term and I didn't see myself in the food industry long term. So I was like, at what point can I make a career change where I'm not tied to a family, kids, I can just pick up and move. I've always wanted to live in LA and just was like, I'm going to do it.
Did you feel like some frustration or something in it?
I did. I think a lot of when you see all these amazing, like there's a lot of articles like the creator of toaster strudel or the creator of this chicken nugget that's shaped, like a dinosaur. Like they might be getting royalties for that product and what they created. But in my career, what I can see is I get paid like just a flat amount and those recipes go into the company and I'm not getting anything in return. But the sales reps have multiple homes. And I was sitting there like, oh, well, I'm going to treat myself to a $5 cup of coffee today. Oh my God, ball out. And there was a discrepancy there.
It was a huge disparity. Yeah. Like you're winning and I'm just here.
And here I am. Yeah.
Thank you for choosing you. And I guess because, we talk about this on the Vitamin D podcast, how like you are your greatest asset, but that's a prime example of loving and knowing what you want. And it just makes me think like, even like, what's going on with Simone Biles and everything with the Olympics.
Oh, totally.
And it's like, she chose her piece. Like, you didn't have anything to prove. You know what you're bringing to the table. And it's like, I applaud her for choosing herself.
Yeah, it's incredible what she did. And on such a large platform like the Olympics. Mm-hmm. But I don't think people can grasp the magnitude of what she goes through on a day-to-day basis. And the fact that it's these just men who probably couldn't even touch their toes, if I'm going to say, and like, and you're complaining while you're sitting on the couch because it's not American, and then it's a team effort that you're talking to her about. I saw something online and they were complaining about how these guys are tweeting angry tweets because she's not a team player, but then they're not getting like a vaccine or wearing a mask. I'm like, do you know what a team player is?
Right. And here's the thing, she still stayed around to support her teammates. So it's not like she's out here like, peace, I'm out. Woo.
Well, think about it too. If she's not in her head, she could paralyze herself.
Right.
If she
after all, they did shut down a movement that she had because it was so amazing that others could get hurt.
Yeah. They're taking points away from her. But in a similar way, it was my mental health. I wasn't doing well myself in the area of life I was in.
And there has to be a lot of pressure. You were a foodie and everybody's like, you have to do this.
Yeah, I was like, I went to school, my parents helped me out with college. So I felt like I owed them that too. And my dad was in the food industry. So we'd go to conferences and see each other and they were so proud. But I wasn't happy. And it took me moving here and being in a new career and them coming to visit me.
Do they support you?
They didn't at first, no.
Really? And you had enough balls to just choose yourself? What?
Totally. That's what you've independence since day one.
Catch it while it's high. In case you didn't know, you're going to learn today.
You're going to learn. It's probably one of the most, it started this wheel for me of self-love and doing what, if I don't feel something in my gut that's right, don't do it.
Don't do it. Why do we force things?
Exactly.
I don't know. I guess it has taken me a few years. So let me pump the brakes and stop acting like, from day one, Dawn was A1. No, but I think now that, living life a little bit longer, it's like, I don't want to force things. I don't have to hold opportunity. I don't have to force or pressure someone. Like even it comes in relationships because it just doesn't fit. And if I have to use so much control of forcing something to happen or making it mend, that's exhausting.
It is. It's exhausting to a point where you get to a breaking point, and if it's affecting your relationships, like it started affecting my friendship.
What do you mean?
Like the way I was mentally, I wasn't able, because my career wasn't going the way that I thought it was, I wasn't able to give my full to my friends. And I felt that was being destroyed. And that to me scared me. I was like, my friends are everything to me and my family. And I couldn't keep doing that. It's important because a lot of times you go on this like whole journey and you don't recognize yourself at the end of it. Mm-hmm. Is that what you want?
You start losing yourself because you're chasing after everything else.
After everything you think that you should be getting. It's like, oh, I graduated college. I should, get this career. And then I'm going to move to this path. And like, at what point does all of this timeline stop? And then you look back and you go, well, I didn't enjoy any of that.
Right.
Or, oh, I didn't have to 28, you got to be engaged, 29, married, 30 kids. Like, your timeline looks different. What you thought at 12 years old shouldn't be what you're living or striving to. Are you
catch it while it's hot? No, but that's so true. And I think oftentimes we get in this imaginary realm and like, I'm always like, have a vision, like create the life that you want, but make sure it's the life that you want and not what you think that you're supposed to have. Yeah. Because it's nothing like trying to catch up with something that you can never attain. In fact, it's like having a carrot dangle in front of you. You're getting exhausted. You feel like you're moving, but the reality of the matter, you're never going to catch it.
You're never going to. Or you like see on social media, your friends are getting engaged. They're getting houses. And it's like, I live in LA. I'm probably never going to obtain a house.
Wait, we speak life into things on this podcast.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, go ahead. Maybe not right now, but sometime in the future. Okay.
Sometime in the future, not right now. But just because their timeline is this way doesn't mean that mine needs to be that way.
That's real. And I think that's really a maturity. That's when it really comes down to when you even ask or when you anticipate about what you want in your life, I think sometimes you have to be ready to receive it. Because sometimes we can ask for different things and opportunities and you can still be on the path of just maturing. And that's the whole readiness, because it's just like touching a pot it's like taking these delicious ass cookies out the oven without mitts on. Like they taste good to you, but they can burn you,
Yeah.
And you were like, listen, I'm not going to burn Tori Foody, not today. But before you decided to transition like completely out of food science, like what was so awesome about it and what attracted you like to the whole, field?
I liked the idea of being someone who's creative, but also someone who can be very analytical. And so my boss, actually, when I interviewed for my job, he would fire rapid questions because he wanted to know the speed at which I could change from thinking creatively to thinking like a scientist would. And so he'd ask questions like, describe yellow to a blind man. And then he would go through and then he'd ask like a math equation.
What?
Or like what you would do. And it was like this way of testing. And, he's a chef, he's creative and worked with incredible people. I'm glad that he saw something in me because I'm sure I made a mess of the interview. But I loved it because you were able to it was my niche. I felt like I really loved the people. It's a very female-driven industry too. Yeah. A lot of females are in as product developers, as food scientists in the industry. And it was a great thing. I got to travel a lot. I learned a lot, applied it. I traveled the whole country and was able to work with these incredible companies as a 22 to 25-year-old.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And just eating. Like
I drive through the drive-through and be like, I literally like bought something that I helped like come up with the idea.
Are you serious?
Yes. It was incredible. And I loved it. And I feel like I learned more and I respect food more from that perspective. I do think that being in the food industry and then having everything that's going on with misinformation in the media and having...
Which we're going to talk about.
40-year-old women moms like thinking they know it. Well, you have someone with a degree or, farmers that are actually in agriculture. Like that to me was rubbing it became more and more into my daily life. And it was hard to separate the two and not get angry. I was like, I shouldn't be getting angry about this because they just don't know. They're just not educated on it. So take a time to maybe sit down and chat with them and answer their questions that maybe they never had someone answer for them before.
Right, because oftentimes we have a lot of questions. We just don't know the questions to ask, or I guess know in a sense that we're seeking answers. But I'm wondering, before we pull over and talk about
totally.
Why did I say pull over like we in a car? Before we pull over to talk about, I was wondering, like, do you remember when you fell in love with food?
I'm trying to, there's this great story. My mom tells it all the time. I have a really good palate from a very young age. Like my palate was incredible. And my family, like one Sunday or a couple Sundays out of the month, we go to Outback and it was like our treat. And I always got the kids mac and cheese. Like it was so good. Penne pasta, homemade cheese sauce. Like I dream about it still. Outback's kid mac and cheese.
You know, I'm giving you the major side eye because you just said that the Outback mac and cheese was popping.
It was good.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm telling you, I mean, this is like circa 2002, 2003.
Okay, so we're talking almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while. I haven't been to an Outback in a hot minute. I'm vegetarian now.
Listen, I was looking like,
But it was great. And I remember going in one day and I ordered my usual. I was like, the usual. As like a 9-year-old. And they come out with the mac and cheese and I take 2 bites and I go, so when did they change the cheese? And my dad's like, eat your mac and cheese. Like it's $10. Like it's a $10 mac and cheese. Like you better eat it. I was like, this is Velveeta cheese. Where's all my homemade? And so my dad pulled over and was like, can you please humor me? My dad worked in restaurants like for a majority of his life and was like, can you humor me and ask the cooks in the back, like, did you guys change the recipe? And the cook comes out and they changed it to Velveeta cheese, mac and cheese. As a 9-year-old, I had just tasting it and my mom went, okay, so she's not picky. She just has the palate of a 50-year-old woman.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's my, every year for Christmas, my uncles and my parents would give me something food related. Like I got a waffle iron one year and that's what I really wanted. Or I got an ice cream maker one year and I was thrilled about it. And like even as an adult, my mom got me like nice knives for like my 22nd birthday. I was like really wanted like a nice chopping knife, like little things like that throughout my life. And my uncle got me like a chef's coat and I'd cook with him in the kitchen because he was a chef. And it really started at a very young age. And my grandma taught me how to bake when I was like 3.
So is bacon the main thing or do you do the food? Because I know they say you're either or.
I think because I did go into a science background and I was such a science person growing up, I loved baking more because it was so precise.
Right. That's what somebody said. Because you have to have the exact measurements versus some other food. You might just throw a little, wiggle a little.
Yeah.
No, we have to be precise.
I have to know. I'm too type A for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know it don't seem like it, but...
She's full of surprises.
Oh, you'd love it. But yeah.
So what was the mac and cheese that said, hey, this is where we need to be?
Telling you, I don't know if Outback's listening to this, but like you traumatized me as a 9-year-old. I then was like, I'm going to change the food industry. I'm going to do it. I'm going to change it because of you. No, I didn't really, but you know, they sparked a fire in me.
So what's your favorite food?
Favorite food right now?
Yeah.
Oh, how do you...
What's your shiznels?
Can I categorize?
Yeah, I'm not going to limit you. You can't on no box over here.
Box over here. I have been obsessed recently with making my own avocado toast. And I know I'm a Caucasian woman in my 20s, millennial. So I understand how that sounds.
Yeah.
But I like doing it at home because then I'm like, that cost me $2.25. And I had the same thing last weekend for $17.
I feel like when we went out, did you have avocado toast?
I had a elevated avocado toast. Yes. It had an egg on it. So it's a meal because it has protein in it. But I do it because it fills a void in my heart.
Well, here's the thing. When you talk about it, I mean, that's the thing about it. You got the toast. You're going to get a little crunch. Then you're going to get a little cream with the avocado. And then you get with that salt and pepper.
With the salt. Yeah. It's a well-balanced meal.
Yeah. And it's very texturized. Like I try to think when I eat food, I'm down for everything. It's the color. It's the texture. It's the flavor. this is everything. Everything is a moment. Like I feel like with food, it is it's a story to be told. You know?
Yeah. I think the thing that I love most about food is it's a way to have people gather. I think we might have talked about this before too.
Yeah, I think we have.
How it's just, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee, or hey, let's, come over and do, crackers and cheese.
Well, I felt kind of selfish because, that's another reason too, but it's like orgasmic in my mouth. I know this sounds like kind of nasty, but yesterday, I guess I've been perfecting my little egg McMuffin. Clearly I'm vegan sometimes. Clearly I'm not. Don't put me in a box. I made this egg McMuffin, honey. Let me tell you what I did here. I took some sweet yellow onions. I must have sauteed them in that pan, that skillet. Then I had some fresh garlic. I must have chopped it in there. See, when I first put it in there, I put it with some olive oil. But then the spirit said, let me hit it with some non-salted. What you say? Hit it with the butter. I said, let me get in there. I had the potatoes, I scalloped them up, put them in, sauteed it. Then I had my fried egg. Where I started out with a little bit of olive oil and I put the butter, fried it on top. Then I had me some Crackle Barrel cheese. They comes in a little square, so it was perfectly. And I just said, I said, here, little baby, let me just set you right here on that fried egg. It melted down, had the egg, had the little McMuffin, the muffin bread, had the sourdough version.
Oh,
I think it's sourdough. Mr. Thomas or Tom.
Oh, they make the bagels.
Okay, yeah, they got the muffins. The what do you call them?
The English muffin.
English muffin.
And you got to cut them; they're not pre-sliced.
So, come on, somebody. Hello, somebody. Amen. And I ate it, and I literally came in my mouth. I know.
I'm so proud of you.
At least some action is happening somewhere. If it's not down below, it's up top. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I want to talk some more with you. And I want to talk about some of the misinformation that we get on food. Because you talked about labeling and so forth. And a lot of people feel like, oh, I got to go to the vegan lifestyle. So we're going to take a break. And then we're going to come back. I'm going to still talk to Miss Foody. Hey.
Hey, it's Timothy Snell, the man behind the curve.
Hey, what's happening, beautiful people? It's your boy Major, and you're tuned into Vitamin D with Dawn Dai.
I guess we're back. So Tori is here with me, and we're talking food science and food and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, we love food science.
And we left off talking about some of the misinformation and labels, but before we dive into that, we got some M&Ms in front of us. What do we have here?
So what we're doing, should I just dive into it?
Yeah, because I'm looking at all these M&Ms and all this good stuff. What's happening?
Okay, so we're going to do kind of like a taste test, a blind taste test. So we don't know what we're trying. We know what we're trying, but we don't know what's in each bowl.
Okay, because I have a bag. Okay, so we're doing a taste test. We have all milk chocolate M&Ms.
Yes.
We have a sharing size.
A share size. We have a fun size, like the tiny ones. And then that's like a regular size, but it says share size.
Okay, because I was going to say, again, misleading information.
Exactly. Well,
but it is kind of like the size that we get at the store or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Target was slacking.
So what are we doing? So we got these glass bowls.
Yes.
And labeling with numbers. Why do we have numbers?
Numbers. Okay. So when you do a sensory test in the industry, you want to make sure that you're not giving any information or any kind of like thought, because your brain, like your eyes eat first whenever you're doing
that's
something.
That's why they say sometimes your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Yeah, your eyes eat first. So when you're looking at it and you're doing a sensory evaluation, you are looking at the numbers, and we have just 3 random generated numbers in any kind of order. You never want to do a test that's like, this one's 1, 2, or 3, because people look at it and then they go, oh, well, this one's obviously better because it's 1. It's like not even thinking about it. It's in the back of your head. Or we have they're all red. So we can't like distinguish what is what based off of a color. Be like, oh, in my head, blue's my favorite color. I'm going to like that one more because it's blue.
Can I tell you a secret though?
No, what's up?
I don't know if it's a secret, but do you know my favorite all-time candy is peanut M&Ms? And do you know that for like years, I would eat all of the rest of the M&Ms and I would always save the red for last. I don't know why. And for whatever reason, I swear I seem like they put the less red in any packet.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Well, it comes from like a sorting bed when they like make. So why I'm so interested about this taste test is because I think that the M&Ms taste different in different packaging. They're the same recipe. It's the same M&M, but I'm convinced that based off the packaging size, that they are different, and I've never done a taste test like this because, inside fact to the food industry, you're making M&Ms and it's the same recipe, right? But say when you're cooking, you're baking, and you scale up a recipe or you scale back a recipe, there's always going to be a difference. And depending on what the finished packaging is, the recipe is always going to be slightly different because you can't make a big vat of M&Ms and package it in all these three things.
How come?
It's based off the lines that they run. And I'm speaking from like a general broad sense.
Inside.
I don't know what M&M does to package, but in most cases you make one, the recipe and manufacturing runs it and they run it into one packaging. Okay. And then they do another one and they run it into this one because they have to change out the lines and there's different lines for different packaging.
Okay.
Materials and how it gets processed.
Makes sense. Like this is the sharing size factory.
Mm-hmm.
This is the fun size factory.
Well, not even factories. It's like in the same building.
It's literally a line. And I should know this. I had an internship at a factory, Chrysler. It was automobiles, but you knew the line for the door.
Yeah.
You knew the line for the engines. Mm-hmm. Okay, same difference.
It's the same difference. And I'm convinced, I'm always like, I personally think that me and how I think that this is going to go, I think that the M&Ms taste fresher and better the bigger the size bag. And I don't think the fun size holds up.
Really? And see, when I think of, I was thinking of the minis because I feel like the little small one, you get the fun size. If you get a little small bag, you better not eat one by one. You better put it all in your mouth.
Yeah.
And personally, I feel like the best way to eat milk chocolate M&Ms, you can't eat it one by one. You got to put like 4 or 5 up in them bad boys in there.
Did you know that you have to walk the length of one football field to burn off the calories of one M&M?
You're lying.
Swear.
I need to reevaluate this taste test. You are not. Lateef, I am sorry about this. This is not for the mission of OM training. Seriously, one M&M?
One M&M, yeah.
One M&M?
Of course, I mean,
Girl, do you know how many football fields I will be walking in my day?
Mm-hmm. I can't buy these because I eat, like I take it and I shovel it like it's a drink into my mouth.
So you prefer the milk chocolate over peanut?
That's what I prefer. Of course, we don't know what's in any of these. So Jeremiah Lovely put them in bowls and then numbered them because we don't want to be
out here.
Where's the camera?
We got 2 cameras.
We so many.
All right. So and then we also have pretzels. Well, there isn't any salt.
So we have
salt. What happened to the salty and sweet?
We can't do salty and sweet. What? So when you're doing a taste test, you want to make sure that you cleanse your palate with water, room temp preferably. I don't think that really matters too much. It's just a preference. But then unsalted, either saltines, unsalted pretzel M&M, pretzels. I mean, I'm pretzel M&M.
Which they have those, I think.
Oh yeah, the pretzel M&M.
You probably could have.
They're good.
Okay.
They're good. But yeah, you just want it in between to cleanse the palate, and the salt just does not.
Where's that? All right. I'm ready to eat. Okay,
ready to eat?
What do we need to do? Just taste it.
Yeah, I guess we just taste it. So do you want to start yellow? Should we start yellow?
Hey, vitamin D with the sun. Let's start with the light.
Let's start with yellow. Okay.
This is fun size. Yellow's fun size. How much of that? Hold on.
I feel like I'm in between fun or if it's in the regular size.
I'll hold you to that.
Right?
Okay.
I'm leaning towards regular size, but you have a point with the fun size.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Green. I think green.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, should we?
Let's cleanse.
Let's cleanse.
Okay.
I'm going to do half pretzel.
Wow. Okay.
We don't want it to interrupt our tasting.
I love somebody that know how to eat.
Give me a man that can cook. Give me a woman who can color coordinate my M&Ms.
Listen. Hello, somebody. Can a church say amen? Hallelujah. Thank you, M&Ms.
Brought to you by Hershey. Is it Hershey? I don't even know who does M&Ms.
Who does it? It's not. I don't even know.
I don't know.
All right.
I think I'm good.
I got a piece of pretzel in my tooth.
No, one fell into my filling, I think. Oh. I think I got it.
Okay. Going to the green.
Okay, I got 2.
Okay.
That's
fun size. That's regular size.
This has got to be this one.
Really?
Maybe.
It is milkier.
It's so much better. It's like when you bite into it, it's like the shell.
You're right, and it crunches. The chocolate is creamier.
Creamier, but it's the crunch too. I feel like it holds, like this melted in my mouth faster.
What? Hold on.
Hold on.
Okay.
This has got to be. Let me do one more. Or maybe it's either regular size or the share size. So I have 2 for this one. I have 2 for this one.
No, I had 2. I had 1, and I think 3 from this one.
You think? Okay.
Okay. I'm going to red. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is my final verdict. I'll take this as a share. Green is share. Red is fun size. And the yellow is regular. Final answer.
I gotta deliberate more.
Mind you, I'm not even a milk chocolate girl.
You're not a milk chocolate girl?
But I think my taste skills might be gangsta.
Okay. I think, let me go through.
What did you just go to?
I just went from here to here. I think this is the Ziploc one.
The sharing, the large size.
The large bag. I think this is fun, and I think this is...
See, I said the yellow one was fun at first, and you said no. See, now I'm... Okay, bring it out. Jeremiah, what we got?
Yeah, let us...
Bring them out. Read it.
Ladies and gentlemen, and the yellow, what number is that?
Yellow, 533 is...
fun size.
Pallets of gods!
Go ahead.
Drum roll, please, for the next option.
Red?
268 is the share size?
Ziploc or the...
No, share size.
Both of them say share size.
It's this one. It says share on it.
Okay, I did get that one.
We got this one right. Okay, so...
I was reversed, I think.
And by default...
the big Ziploc bag is $8.71.
The green, the Ziploc, is that?
Okay, so you were...
I feel like I have a sixth sense.
But wait. Dr. Laura, you agreeing? Yeah, she did get it right, though.
Can you guys try these, though?
Hold on. But wait. Okay, yeah, you did
try these, and there's a difference. So it's going to go smallest size.
Okay, Jeremiah and Dr. Laura, they did try these.
Now you guys know, so you have it like in your mind of what it is already. But like, you can't tell me that they taste the same. They taste different. Okay? If you want a pretzel at all, you can. I recommend just like a bite. Because the pretzel's a little large, even though it's mini. I'm convinced.
I think, I think I would, Too bad you guys can't see what we're doing. We can edit this out. The green was which one? Did you pause the clock?
The Ziploc bag. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This one's like sweeter, like
it's like a milky milk chocolate. It's like you like this one better? See, I like this one better.
Yeah.
Because I actually prefer dark chocolate over milk chocolate. So I think I prefer that because it's more like semi-sweet. And this one's like fake chocolate to me.
Yes.
It's like a Hershey's chocolate bar, but it's like the knockoff brand. That's the sweetest one I think.
Dang. I don't know why y'all trying to talk. Nobody can hear you on the mic.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we did this because it's been a theory of mine that I've had.
And the thing is, you're right. You're on it.
I mean, I love being right. Like, don't get me wrong. But this just really made my day. I'm gonna like call my parents on the East Coast, wake them up, and be like, "You're not gonna believe what I did."
Like, we just did a taste test, and it was popping.
Oh, you're gonna leave a bowl of M&Ms in front of us?
Oh,
now we're gonna have to.
Jeremiah, this is not helping.
How many football fields?
Right. We put Forrest to shame. Wait, are you sure one M&M, bro? One
Can you
M&M?
Google it? I Googled this like I want to say like 7 years ago. It's a fact that stayed with me.
One M&M? Yo, what is one French fry? Because Lord knows I love a potato.
Oh yeah, it's wrong too. Sorry, I'm gonna have one more pretzel.
So I feel like, am I being misinformed? Because with the labeling, Why are they pretending like the M&Ms are all the same and we just did a taste test and they do not taste the same? Is this a possibility? Wait, I didn't even look at the back. Do they have the same calories in all of them?
Oh, let's do per weight.
Oh, per weight.
Okay, so its serving size is 30 grams. What's the serving size on there?
The serving size is 27 grams.
Okay.
And 130 calories. So that shouldn't be more than what? 133?
This one is 28 grams and it's 140 calories. And this one is 30 grams and 140.
Okay, that sounds about right because this is a 27.
And it does round out to like if this is like if it's like 5.5 grams of fat, it would round up to 6. In the labeling. I'm not super familiar with like how physically the nutrition label. We had like a company that did it for us when I was in the industry. But everything that you read on here, like physically, like the ingredients, people are like, they read it and they're like, oh, I don't understand this. It has to be bad for me.
Right, because it has all these chemicals and they say like, what is it, the Breyers commercial where they always introduce like you should be able to pronounce everything on the back.
Yeah. So can you pronounce any of the chemicals that are naturally occurring in a banana?
I don't know what's naturally in a banana.
Because what it's like so many things that naturally occur. So to me, when you're reading a label, yes, you're not going to understand and you're not going to be able to read all of this, but they all do specific tasks in here to make sure that it stays safe, that the water activity, that you're not going to get molded. It's not going to, the packaging itself, there's a lot of science that goes into that so that it doesn't melt.
And this is somebody that would study food science that would do the packaging?
Could do packaging. There's packaging engineering. Yeah, commercial goods. So when you're looking at the ingredients, I think it's just almost like not an ignorance, but just a misinformed when it comes to just because you don't understand something doesn't mean that it's inherently bad for you. Because think about the percentage of these ingredients that are in here are solely to make sure that this has a shelf life that's feasible for humans now. Like if it was all natural, if it was, didn't have acids to maintain the pH of it, it wouldn't last very long. You'd pick it up at the grocery store, the next day it'd be spoiled, which is why a lot of natural foods don't last very long, or they have a lot of outbreaks or a lot of recalls because it's so important to maintain the safety of this food. It's at such a small level, and it's good that the FDA is, making them put this on here, though.
Yeah, we want to know what's going on in my body.
You'd want to know it, but actually, if it's less than 0.1% in there, you don't necessarily legally need to put it on there.
What? Less than 1 or 0.1?
0.1%. It does not need to be on there.
Also, is that how they okay, I'm not speaking this on the M&Ms, but like, say for example, like when they talk about different poisoning or in different food or and they're like, oh, we didn't know that. And it's like, well, it was only 0.1.
So there's so like a big one is like propylene glycol it's a ingredient that is in cleaner fluid for cars. It's like a main ingredient in one of those. It also can be used in food though, as a stabilizer for like, you put it in with a substance like gum to like keep the chocolate formed. You want to use the gum because that gum's going to keep its shape. It's going to make sure that there's not, when you look at go to say like, what's the juice place that's all over Creation?
Oh yeah,
Creation. And it's like all the sediment at the bottom. If you go and grab a chocolate milk or something at the grocery store, the reason why it's not at the bottom is because they have gums in it. So it doesn't look, if you buy something at the grocery store and it has a coating around it, it's because it probably looks nasty on the inside. Yeah, there's a lot of things.
I wouldn't even thought about it. Yeah, so, okay.
But it's used at such a small amount. There's studies that are done for these ingredients. There would never be anything in here, of course, in moderation. Like, don't eat 2 of these a day. Like, obviously, your heart would implode.
Right. So being mindful of that. Being
mindful of it, but then also being mindful when you're eating, say, like organic foods and you're like preaching that everyone needs to be eating organic or whatever. And that's great. Like if you want to eat organic, like no harm to you, but know your privilege.
What do you mean?
Know your privilege. Not everyone can afford organic
That's
food.
true.
Not everyone has access to it.
That,
And that's what kind of bothers me is a lot of people who do preach this and preach clean living are such a small, minuscule amount of Americans that can afford that, can be able to throw away food if it goes bad. And thinking about that, a lot of people in America living in poverty and can only get to the grocery store once a week, sometimes twice, and they have several mouths to feed, and they work several jobs, and they need something that an 8-year-old who won't eat anything but chicken nuggets will eat. And that's what I'm passionate about, is just like educating people on.
So you think so it's almost like shaming in a sense.
It's a food shaming thing.
Oh, wow.
And it just makes me a little sad.
So I don't people are preaching it because it is healthy, but does that mean we stop spreading the word, or is it time to get more grassroots and start getting into places where we can infiltrate, more local farms or?
I think, if you have an ability to grow like in your backyard, of course, like do it, grow, and, don't use pesticides and whatever. But if you don't have that, I think it's a big look on what the government, spends the money on and what agriculture can do and how we can feed more mouths. There's a lot of insecurity in homes and people going, this is a quote that my grandfather would always say, and why I got into the food industry in the first place was, everyone wakes up hungry. So food industries, you're always going to have a job, right? But people go to bed hungry too. And those are the people that you need to fight for.
Come on, somebody.
Right?
Lifting as we climb. They said the best place to find a helping hand is at the end of your own arm. Catch it.
Yeah.
That was
Just
great.
something to think about.
It is. And, really to get involved and just saying like, okay, what can we do to process? I would think, Jeremiah, we were watching this documentary the other day and just talking about access. They were saying like the amount of farmland that we have left. I might have threw Jeremiah's name in there. It wasn't Jeremiah. I think it was somebody else. I'm with him all the time, so I just throw things on Jeremiah. No, another friend of mine, they were saying like, we have 60 years left of farmland. And it's just like, it's time to think of different ways. And
yeah. So a big kind of soapbox. So I went to University of Georgia, and it's a huge agriculture school. It started as an agriculture school. I have my degree in bachelor's in science and agriculture. So I took this course in college, and I was trying to think of the professor's name, and I could not think of it for the life of me. He was in the poultry science building, and he taught this class about agriculture and culture, and how culture is affecting agriculture and vice versa in the world. And it was so profound because we talked a lot about things in the media about the food industry and a lot about agriculture. And it got me excited when I got into my food science courses about understanding and researching about, say, GMOs, about organic food versus sustainable. And
what is the difference? Like, what?
So, in 2050, we're practically going to be starved.
What do
essentially.
you mean?
We're running out of, like you said, farmland. And the reason why is because we need to pick up better sustainable practices for our farmers. So if you were to buy organic versus sustainable, I would go towards, and a lot of people in the food industry would tell you to go towards someone who's labeling it as sustainable. That means that the farmer is taking care of that land, that they're doing practices for that land so that it can be better used in the future so that we don't, run out of land to grow, which is, another big reason why the non-meat meats are good for people who aren't necessarily vegetarian, but want to decide to throw that in a little bit because so much of our food and corn goes to feed livestock.
Yo,
so much of it.
I heard that the cows' farts, the gas,
the methane,
is calling pollution.
It's crazy how much goes into it.
Who thought that the farts? You complain about the smell.
The smell.
But it's affecting our livelihood.
Our livelihoods, too. And a big thing, too, with organic farming is when you have to become certified organic and you want to grow an organic farm, that farmer cannot grow anything on that land for 1 to 3 years, depending on that crop, to make sure that that soil is then certified organic. And then when you do grow organic, you're losing probably anywhere between 50 to 40% of your crop I'm spitballing that number. Don't quote me on it. But you're losing a good majority of your crop because you're not using safe pesticides and you're not using...
Because you can't waste any time. You're waiting 3 years.
3 years. And so you're growing food, but your output of it, your actual food, your strawberries or whatever you're going to make organic, then you sell it to co-ops or whoever's going to be selling it to Fresh Market for $16 for a thing of strawberries. That money's not going back to the farmers. It's going to the certification to be organic because that certification is
so do we
so
win with being organic?
In my personal opinion, no, because you're using the same amount of land. You're not getting as good of a profit in return because you're losing so much crop, and then it costs so much and wastes so much time of that farmer.
But we want to be healthy. They are creating and putting chemicals in food. How can we assure, other than growing a farm in our backyard, that we're eating proper food, I guess?
So what do you mean when you say that they're putting chemicals in your food?
So let's just say, for example, like it's sustainable farming, or when I look at organic farming, I know that there aren't any pesticides. I know that none of the crops or animals have been, are being created in a petri dish. And therefore, I feel like it's more digestible for my body.
Okay.
Versus if I were, let's just say an apple, for example, they say those that are not organic, that they have this coating of wax on there. So while you're saying, hey, Dawn, this isn't great for the actual land, I'm thinking about the land that is my body. So while I want to support and say, hey, we have to have this land, but so what, I'm going to take non-organic food and then kill myself?
I do think that it is a placebo effect with organic, and people
Come
see
on,
it
somebody.
and they buy it and they inherently think that it's better. And therefore you're thinking that you are a superior person over those who then, I'm not saying about you, but then inside you, you're like, oh, my body's digesting it better. I'm doing better because you feel better because you think that you're doing better. And therefore then you have a superiority complex over those who then don't eat organic. It's like a whole trickle down effect of it.
Dang, I didn't think about that. Right. And that goes along with everything that we talk about this podcast. You got to make your mind up.
Make your mind up. And it leads me to talk about GMOs, which is such a hot topic. And
so break down what is GMO and then what you're going to say.
So GMO is a genetic modified organism. And essentially what it is back in the 80s, the government was like, got this research, we're all going to starve to death by 2050 if we don't do something to save the land.
And we're still holding on that, right?
We're still holding on to 2060 now. Like we're pushing it back, but that's a spitball. We're not doing well as a country. And if we don't do something to change it, we're going down a slippery slope. So scientists, it's a modified of the seed. So essentially like how you got a golden doodle, right? A poodle and a golden retriever. Did the nasty.
Didn't even know that was, y'all don't even know what I was thinking about. Okay.
Did the nasty, a golden doodle. And then you got it. So scientists were like, okay, why is this ear of corn? I'm going to use corn as an example. Why is this ear of corn not need as much sunlight? This one doesn't need as much pesticides. Why does this one not need as much water? What can we take from this and learn from a DNA perspective of this corn, the seeds? How can we learn what's making this do this? And how can we make it so this one ear of corn uses only a quarter of the pesticides and a quarter of the water and produces now four more ears of corn? And it's not ears of corn on like the stock or whatever, but you're using less resources to grow more.
Is that
corn.
okay? Is that okay for our body?
There is no evidence that proves GMOs have been around since the 80s.
I mean, strawberries, they're like that was genetically modified. Strawberries aren't natural. The seeds are on the outside.
I've never heard of those.
Like strawberries are created. Carrots.
Corns are a big one because you got to think of livestock and how much corn that they eat.
Right. But I'm saying like the origination of it, like it wasn't like that was created. Like that wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing because you have to think about the land and what it does. But a lot of people who are against it because they don't understand the concept of a GMO are those who are environmentalists and know that we are running out of water. And we're running out of
water?
Yes.
That is crazy. Like a lot of people need to be alarmed. We are made of 80% water.
Yes.
Dude, won't you die from thirst before food?
No, you run out of if it's food, you can go you can go without food for 7 days, 5 days. What is this?
How long can you go without water?
No, I go like an hour, and I'm like the SpongeBob. Water, pinkies up. And it's tough topics to talk about, and I know I'm very passionate about it, but it just is, to me, that's interesting. I went to school for this, so it's very like I get very passionate about it, and I like to educate people, but I'm not going to try to change people's minds. I'm just trying to open the horizons of, okay, well, you also want to do for the environment, but you're also against GMOs. Do you know that they are literally just the modification of the seed at the seed level to then create? It's not like they're spraying on stuff onto the, like a pesticide would. It's not that. To make sure that we don't have to use as much water. We actually don't have to use as much pesticides.
Wow, okay.
And you're having a greater turnover, so you can, the land itself is being able to rejuvenate faster.
And this whole time I was thinking that like the whole GMO, I thought like they were making like the I don't know, like making it in a lab or something.
Where it like looks like an eggplant and it's like ginormous.
Yeah, like that's what I thought. That's just life. That's just how sometimes it happens. Your soil, it so depends. Like soil is everything. Try coffee in Costa Rica and Brazil. They're totally different. Right. I mean, heck, you can just look at people. Like some people can handle sunlight, some people can. It's just like, you know, if we can crossbreed as far as different ethnicities, I guess it's no different. So let me ask you this. What made you cross over? Because like you're diving into the food science.
Yeah.
You're not, are you in food? What are you doing right now?
I'm not. So when I was in food science, I did a lot with sales and I got really passionate. I felt like my personality was being dulled in a laboratory, at like a test kitchen. So I was looking at things good to go into sales, and I crossed upon advertising sales for Discovery Networks.
Discovery? Oh, hey girl.
And it's actually something that I recently recovered in my emails that I realized that I had applied to when I was in college. And I guess I never heard back. But it's advertising sales, and you start off as, you know, assistant, you work your way up as a planner, but you get to work for these incredible brands. We have Food Network, TLC, Cooking, OWN, Science, like all these things that I'm very passionate about. And I needed that. I needed that change.
Come on.
I needed to be in a city that reflected my values and my goals and aspirations in life. Just to be around that helps tremendously. Just to be around that, like going to a groundlings class, right?
I love somebody.
And to be around that and to be into sales and a better career on something that I'm actually passionate about.
That's magic.
Come on. No brainer.
What is like your day today, like, I guess, without going too deep?
Yeah.
And how are you making sure that you keep your passion with food alive?
Of course. That's a great question. So my day-to-day is working with advertisers that are on my little desk and making sure that they're spending money on the networks and that everything that they're running. So if it's a movie studio and their movies coming out, like that their ads are running on certain networks, that would be for the customers that they'd want. Or if it's for an auto brand or what have you. That's essentially the day-to-day, is being a very like customer facing of working with those agencies and media buyers.
Okay.
And making sure that they're happy. My boss is happy. We keep the lights on.
And then in order to keep yourself happy, you get your laughs at the groundlings.
Exactly. I think groundlings is so therapeutic to me. And I think that's it's such a great outlet. How a great way to meet people.
Hey, you met me.
I know, I met my love, Dawn. I love you. So
yeah, that's one thing. And that's what's so dope. And I've talked about it on the podcast once before, just about groundlings and the whole principality of the yes and moment. And it's like, even before you joining the groundlings, you said yes and to yourself about, yes, it's okay that I want to transition out of my life in Florida. And I want to build onto something else, to an extension, to feed other parts. And I want to thank you for giving that to yourself.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was a very fearless act.
Yeah, well, it's just like the butterflies around your neck. Like you were a caterpillar, honey, and now you are just flying and flexing.
Flying and doing high, going out. Hello, yeah.
So, well, hello to this. I have something that I like to do with all of my guests. Sure. This right here, my dear, this is called the VitaBox. It's called the VitaBox. Okay, in this VitaBox, I have some papers in here, and they have terms on there.
Okay.
Now, you know, vitamin D is all about inspiration and motivation. So we always figure out how to shed some light and inspire folks. And so I have
various words. It may be a flavor, a description, a temperature, but probably something dealing with food since you're our food expert today.
Of course.
So I want you to dab your hand in here, right? I don't want you to pull in here. I want you to pull out whatever words you get and tell me something inspirational.
About the word.
About the word, or what what comes to mind. Just leave us with something inspirational. This is a suggestion
for like a scene. Okay,
exactly.
I get it.
You dig it.
I get it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I got this one.
Okay.
All right. Do I say it?
Yeah, you got to say it and say what it is.
Zesty. Zesty. I when I think of zesty, I think of zest for life. I think of oranges, I think of lemons, but I think of a zest for life and what keeps it balanced, but also exciting at the same time. Because if you think about it, zest for me, lemon and acids and the pH, that actually binds a lot of foods in the cooking. So when you add lemon into a dish and you squeeze orange into a margarita, like it brings it full circle. So who can I be to be the zest in their life and to really connect the dots in their life? Is that making sense? Right.
Whoa.
Ow, this is on the spot too. This is so good. Zesty with a Y, foodie with a Y. Get
it? Go in there again.
Oh, do another one.
I'm going to do a couple, probably three.
Okay, I love this. Fire rapid. I'll go faster. Spicy. Spicy makes me think of, oh my gosh, what's his name? Stefan SNL. He goes, spicy in one of his things. One thing spicy is like, keep it interesting. You can't just live your life eating boring, bland. I know we meal prep. I have like the same thing every day when I eat, right? Just because it's easy doesn't mean that you should be doing it.
Hey!
Right? Just because it's easy and convenient doesn't mean it's the path for you. You need to add in a little spice, and I mean more than pepper, and your Himalayan pink sea salt. Please, please get over yourself. Come on. You're better than that. I want you to add in the 21 seasonings from Trader Joe's, and you just don't know what's going to hit you in the mouth. I want you to take a shot of it. Nasty. That got weird.
I love it. You better speak.
I love it. She's in the corner of my eye. I just love it. Buttery. Oh, when I think of buttery, I think of like a slime. I'm like sliming around, right? Yes, and I think of Butters from what's that show again? Butters. He's the little guy in the animated. It's not Simpsons. Whatever. I know exactly. I can picture it in my head. I just can't think of the word. But buttery, I think of like just like slimy. I'm like messing around. I'm all buttery. But I also think of Southern cooking.
Ooh,
and I think of that Southern hospitality. And so if I take away from the butteriness is like, maybe you need to be that butter for someone. Maybe you need to bring that Southern hospitality, even if you're from New York and you're an a-hole, okay? Like get over yourself. Like people go through bad days. And just because you're giving them or they're giving you attitude or they're being rude, you treat them with kindness. That could be what sends them. If you treat them with unkindness down a dark path, if you treat everyone with kindness and with a little Southern twang, no one gets mad at you if you talk in a Southern accent, please. Put it on.
How you doing there, lady?
How you doing?
My name's Dawn Dai.
Dawn Dai.
And I just want to welcome you and thank you so much for stopping by our podcast.
Well, thank you, Dawn. It's been a pleasure of mine to be here with you.
Well, you definitely did bring something other than sweet in your personality. You brought some nice M&Ms here.
Yes, M&Ms. I love me eating an M&M because it brings me more joy than anything.
Anything?
I'm talking like I go into my Piggly Wiggly, right? At the corner of Main Street and 74th. And I go in and I see Miss Rebecca standing there.
I know Miss Rebecca.
Miss Rebecca. Of course, everyone knows Miss Rebecca. Her nose is in everything.
Everything, honey. She told me the other day how I was just driving a new car that was my boyfriend.
None of your business, Miss Rebecca.
Okay. Talk to the hand.
Talk to the hand.
As you were saying.
Anyways, so I was going to my Piggly Wiggly and I'm looking for just anything to eat and I see M&Ms and I go through and I'm like, all right, so I'm going to get the variety pack. I don't know if you've noticed, but they got packs now that got regular, a peanut and peanut butter.
Oh my God. So it's like all in one.
All in one.
You get all the flavors like the rainbow. Just taste whatever you want.
Taste whatever you want.
Okay.
Skittles took away their colors and M&Ms was like, checkmate.
Checkmate, got one.
I got one. And I got it. And Miss Rebecca. At the cash register, she's like, looks me up and down.
She was trying to check you?
She checked me. I was like, you sure you need that?
What was the last time that you invited her over your house to check your scale and what's going on in your business?
Never.
Okay.
What about you? Has she ever given you sass where it's like, I should go with some hostess cheese puffs? I don't know.
I went in there to go get me some Simply's lemonade, and she said, "Oh, you sure you want to add the one with the strawberry on it?" I said, "Ma'am, you need to mind your business. If I feel like being fruity today with a little surprise, let me be a surprise, and you go get your business.
Let me be the surprise."
Okay. I told her, I was like, my life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, but what you're not going to do is regulate what I do in my perimeter of my life.
Amen. What'd she do? She probably bought her false eyelashes from Sally's.
Okay.
Like this.
That she paid only $1.99 for.
Only $1. Please, if you don't get the $5.45 ones, get out of my life.
Yeah, go get your life.
I can't with her. I don't even know what we're talking about.
But no, this was fun, man.
This was fun.
I didn't know that I could learn so much about food science and what it means. And you really shed some light on what it means to be like, people are preaching about having organic food and really to take heed about the GMO and even just being cognizant, like we have to make a change. So even if it's not your shiznills of a foodie, it's going to affect our lives, right?
It's going to affect everyone. And if you don't like the way it is, then maybe make some change and do something about it.
Hello?
Right? So you guys gotta, that's what I hope to do. I hope to help those who are less fortunate and when they come to food insecurities. But then also that starts at people who are at a privileged perspective of food and they are able, monetarily wise, to buy the healthier. Just because it's deemed healthier by marketing doesn't mean
that it truly is healthy all the way around.
Placebo effect, please. You're buying into it.
Hello, somebody.
You're making someone some fat money.
Hello,
and not the farmers, the companies. So just like food for thought. It's like when people like...
Food for thought. That was good.
That was good.
I like what you did there. So what's next for you?
What's next for me?
Yeah, like, and when I say next, what do you see yourself? Like I always ask people, what's the vision? Not exactly what you're doing. Like me, like I know that I'm going to be speaking somewhere and it's going to be on your television screen, in your radio, and I'm going to inspire you.
Yes.
I know that.
Yes.
Because my voice is my gift. What do you hope?
You have a delightful voice.
Thank you.
I know, it's just like booming. It's wonderful.
Yes.
It's so soothing.
I'm going to get paid a lot of money
it's
for
heavy.
it.
I know.
It's going to be crazy.
Oh, it's one of my networks. We need to like figure this out.
Did you catch it? Did you catch it? Vitamin D with Dawn Dai listeners. Did you catch what she said and how she just spoke life over me? And it's going to happen.
It is.
Now, let me just say this, and I'm going to let her finish, but I just want to be clear because when it's time to go down in the history books and we talk about the process of how it happened, it won't be a surprise because I manifested it on day one. I told you what we were doing here. I told you how long we're going to be doing it for. And I told you the result of the outcome of which shall be. Okay? Watch me. I told you I got life and tatted in my mouth. I speak life over myself and I'll allow other people, if you want to confirm it, hey. Okay, go ahead.
Hey. I love that. Anyway, I get so distracted. So sorry. For me, I think this past year and a half has been just so hard. Emotionally, mentally, physically, just the whole gamut of it. It just has not been a delightful year. So when I think
mainly because of the pandemic.
Mainly because of the pandemic, yes. But I think that I still have a lot of growth to do personally and emotionally. And so I think a lot of my goals recently that I can think of offhand are like how I will be feeling and what I want to be as a human rather than like physical, tangible, manifested goals.
Amen.
I want to be in a place where I feel comfortable and I feel happy, but I'm always pushing myself still. I want to be surrounded by people that I truly trust and that I would do anything for.
Amen.
I want to be in a place where I can give to others without second guessing and not even thinking about, oh, well, how am I going to afford rent if I do this? Like a big thing that I was taught growing up is like, just because you might be pushing for money in your pockets, if it's like tithing in the Catholic Church, I guess you could say, but you give a good majority of it and it always works itself out. It always comes back to you. And I think I need to make a more tangible, a more
non-tangible?
a better, intentional.
Intentional.
I need to be more intentional with my life.
Amen.
Yeah. And career-wise, honestly, no clue. I just want to make people laugh, happy. And I want to be in a place where I can just do and feel better.
Wow, you made me really adjust that thought process, because that's real. How many times, we always are talking about what we want to get, what we want to go to. You said, hold up, let me tell you where I want to be.
Yeah. Well, because if you want to be, and if you can help create the person you want to be, all that's going to fall into place.
Hello, somebody.
So why am I'm going to go back on that cycle where it's like, oh, I'm going to go to this school, graduate, get this job at this corporation, work until I'm this age, get engaged, have a kid. Like, none of that matters. None of that matters to me. And it's how I'm feeling throughout the process of getting there.
My barber, when I used to have short hair, I used to rock the short blonde hair.
I loved it.
He says, Louis T. Powell, he says, the journey is the experience.
Yeah.
And the experience is the journey.
Oh, wow.
And it's everything of the being. Like, so far, we're trying to catch to the end, but it's like, yo, you got to be right here. So now that you're here right now, if somebody is listening and they're loving it, how can they follow you?
Follow me. You can follow me on Instagram at Tori Foody. I also have a food Instagram. It's at Foodie Halftime Report, and that's Foodie with a Y. Much like sports games, if you need a halftime from eating, I'm your gal.
What did you say? Something about the pants got to be on
it's like
something?
Here at Foodie Halftime Report, I am halfway through my meals at your local Denny's off of Sunset Boulevard, and I officially cannot close my pants, but I am persevering. I will take a bathroom break, chug my lemon water, and get back to you.
And there you have
That's it. And also on TikTok, like whatever, Foodie Halftime. Follow me for some laughs.
Oh my gosh. And then soon we're going to be talking about our film that we're going to be in. But I got a sketch idea that we still need to work on.
That's like that's an actual physical goal I need to do, is like do more writing to get, I feel like it's a very therapeutic process for me. Okay. And that's where I want to go.
Let's say you got to write the vision, make it plain. Let's do it.
I love sketches.
You heard it. And if you're listening out there, we hope that you got some inspiration to sketch out your life about what it is that you want and have a better understanding of food. And it's so interesting, as we talked about this whole conversation with food, and Tori was explaining about how she fell in love with food, how it became engaged. You also realize how the parallel of her story with food was kind of like the parallel of life. Learning it, getting your hands into it, but then coming to a situation where you allow things to evolve. You give yourself room to grow, room to change, room to be, and also a room and a place of understanding, and understanding your relationship with yourself. And in this case, understanding the relationship with food. We're jumping out there thinking that organic is the way to be, and very much so it can be healthy. But when we look at the scope of things, when we really step out to look at the bigger picture of food and what it means, and what the non-GMO, what the labeling means, how it comes down to the food shaming, let it be a reflection of our life. We can't just walk around thinking that life is just about us, but also about every person that we come in contact with and that we affect. May we continue to spread joy, spread light, spread insight, and spread life, right? If food is life, why can't we be life? Now that's your food for thought. Thank you, Tori Foody. And I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have enjoyed this podcast, this interview will be up on the YouTube page at Dawn Dai Speaks. Also, I want to encourage you that if you'd like to be a guest, or perhaps you want to write in and say you want to get an advice letter, send us an email, VitaminD@DawnDaiSpeaks.com. I want to hear from you. And then in the meantime, in between time, say you're kicking it back and you might just feel like you want some more inspiration, some motivation, something to carry you on your way. I want to encourage you to follow me on all social media at DawnDaiSpeaks.com, okay? I'm in the business of making dreams come true. And I damn sure ain't gonna forget about mine. So until next time, I want you to always remember, you are your greatest asset.
Get your vitamin D right here with me and get excited about your life.